Okay, so IELTS speaking part 1. Basically in part 1 they will ask you very simple questions and you have to gain confidence, right? There are few things which you need to keep in mind. When you go for your speaking test, first you will be taken to a room, there you will be waiting, then invigilator will come or assistant will come and call the names of the people, Muhammad Asad Yaqub, yeah, sitting there, now you should come. So at times when I went to take my own IELTS speaking, what did they do? They just made the students sit in a room. Like there were 7-8 students sitting and waiting for their speaking test. While sitting there, the way you are talking to each other, the way you are communicating with each other, that is very, very important. Like I was sitting there, one of the students, that time I was not like, nobody knew me. I was just like ordinary candidate of IELTS and English language teacher. So nobody knew me there. And one guy said, "Aajkal speaking mein band score nahi de rahe." And the others, they just responded to that, "Haan yaar." And they said, "Bhai, aapko kitna band chahiye?" And there was some negative conversation over there. I took my IELTS twice. Once I took my speaking test in Pearl Continental Hotel, and second time I got my speaking test in Ali Institute. So first time when I went to that Pearl Continental Hotel, there was another guy, and the examiners, they had a tea break. And we were waiting for our speaking test, and suddenly the examiners came out, and one guy, he was experienced one. He was taking his IELTS third time, and he said, "Ye jo examiner hai, ye band nahi deti." And I looked at the examiner and all that. You know, these are all superstitions, or what do you say, the wrong affirmations about examiners and all that. So he said that ye wali jo hai wo band score nahi deti. There was the business center, and the lady went to that room, and the same guy went into the same room where there was the examiner jo band score nahi deti. So your feelings, your emotions, your confidence is very, very important. In Lahore, once IELTS speaking test started, test went on, in the middle, suddenly speaking examiner stopped the test and asked the candidate to leave the room. That candidate was literally nervous and confused. What happened? Oh, means I didn't do anything. And what happened? Suddenly examiner stopped the test. Just you're taking your speaking test, and suddenly examiner stops and says, "Excuse me, please leave the room." And then he was nervous, and then they realized examiner did not follow the SOPs of IELTS speaking test in the beginning. Like, you know, they've got some SOPs. My name is this, I am speaking examiner today, date is this, candidate number is this, candidate name is this, and now we start speaking test. So examiner did not say that, and examiner was nervous as well, right? And then after 5 minutes, they called the same candidate that now we have your speaking test once again. So you can well imagine, he was totally confused, nervous, and he lost his mind. He couldn't perform well in that speaking test. Luckily, he called me and told me all the story. And then I asked him to call them back and tell them, "Take my speaking test again, otherwise I will talk to grandfather." You know, grandfather? Cambridge University is their grandfather. So when he said this, they said, "Okay, no problem, we cancel your speaking test, you can come again and take your speaking test." So part 1 speaking is going to give you very positive feelings if you take it like very seriously. Yeah, and another thing, if you are out of breath, like, you know, you go there and you are suddenly out of breath. Sometimes in the old times, we had one test center here. Their speaking, even now, their speaking room is upstairs. So when you climb the stairs, you reach up there, they put you in a room and you are like this, and you know you have your IELTS speaking test as well. So if you have this feeling, do not allow the examiner to start the test. In the beginning, they will ask you, shall we start the test? If you say, "No, ma'am, please give me 1 minute. I'm out of breath or my heartbeat is fast, just give me a minute." So they will give you a couple of minutes, and once you feel better, then they will start the test. Okay, anyways, in IELTS speaking part 1, you have to answer the questions, and I call these answers crispy answers. Have you ever eaten chips? See, crunch, 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 it goes in your mouth, you cannot hide the crunch. This is one slogan of a company, "You cannot hide the crunch." So you should give crispy answers for speaking part 1. Now what is a crispy answer? The first thing is direct answer. Whatever the question is, your answer must be direct answer to the question. If the question is, what's your favorite shopping mall? Right, you say, I love Emporium Mall very much. The direct answer. They say, what's your favorite shopping mall? Shopping mall. Shopping malls are very, very important. I am lucky that I live in a city where there are many shopping malls. ठहर जो अभी तो मैंने और भी याद किया हुआ है, वो भी बताना है. Okay, then you put difficult words and all that. Shopping malls are just like skyscraper buildings. Madam, skyscraper is good word. Give me extra band for skyscraper. It's not like that. Okay. When they say what's your favorite shopping mall, start your answer with your favorite shopping mall. Afterwards, you can elaborate your answer or you can give some examples. So the first step is to answer the question directly. And when you give direct answer, try to reword examiner's question. If the question is, what's your favorite shopping mall? Now don't use the word favorite. Instead of favorite, you can say, I love Emporium Mall. Right? If they say, what's your favorite shopping mall? I have always liked Mall of Lahore. Is that clear? So that examiner knows that you are not imitating the language they have. After that, you can give reason for your answer. Those reasons can be in 2 to 3 sentences, like minimum 1, 2, or otherwise you can make 3 sentences, and then you can conclude your answer. Concluding your answer means, that is why I love this mall. Therefore, I like Emporium Mall very much. Is that clear? So very crisp, to the point, start your answer directly according to the question, then add a couple of sentences, and afterwards you can just conclude your answer. And when you conclude your answer, you have to say what you said in the first sentence but using different words. No indirect answers. The first thing, do not repeat the question after the examiner. Examiner asks you, what do you do in your free time? Free time? Okay. You should not do that. This is silly. Right? I mean, these type of things actually, what do you say, irritate the examiners. And sometimes some candidates are very, very decent and good. They ask a question, tell me about your hometown. I am glad that you asked me this question. I wanted to tell you about my hometown. So let's take a start with the answer. You should not do anything like this. Clear? Right? Don't try to be extra smart. And if examiner smiles at you, it's not just you. They smile at everyone. Right? I mean, it's not just for you that I am exceptional because I was wearing the necktie, so that's why examiner smiled, and at the end you leave a paper chit. This is my number. Okay? Not like that. And one more thing, never ask the examiner your band score. They will never tell you. They will never ever tell you. I mean, it's not that at the end of the test you say examiner was very friendly, so madam, what is my band score? They will never tell you. Okay, so these type of things are really silly. You just need to go and let them do their work, and definitely they will just, go through this thing and they guide you. You are going to be objective, like you are going to be an object, and examiner is the subject. Examiner knows how to do all these things, so you should just let them do all that. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to call you here one by one, and I'll be asking you speaking part 1 questions, and you have to keep in mind the first sentence is direct answer to the question. Second, third, fourth sentence, that is explanation. And when I talk about explanation, that can be the reason for your answer. For instance, if you say, my favorite color is green because, and then you can give reason for your answer in 2 or 3 sentences, and at the end, that is why I always like green color, or that's why green color is my most favorite. Rewording, try to use appropriate language. Do not use any word which is like, which does not fit, but you want to fit it because somebody told you that this word will bring you 8 band. There isn't anything like that. Okay? Alright, so we just take a start.